Hey everyone, I welcome you all to this video, and today in this video we will be discussing about the concept of common table expressions. So a CTE or a common table expression is basically a temporary result set. It's a temporary result set that we can refer to with a select statement or insert statement or update statement or delete statement. So we will take some examples to understand these cases. But it is a temporary result set and can be used along with select, insert, update, or delete. And if you want to create a CTE, then you will have to use with keyword. We will take some examples to understand this. And it basically helps us to simplify the queries, and it makes it easier for us to understand the code by breaking them into simpler parts. So that's all about the common table expression. Now let's take some examples to understand this. So there's a table that we are going to use, and this table resides in employee details database. So I've already selected this database from here, that is employee details database. And I will run a simple select statement to see the data contained in employees table. So we can write select star from employees. If I will execute the code written in line 9, you will see this is the data that is contained in the table. Now, let's say, since we will be discussing about update, insert, delete, and all these types of statements, so I do not want that my main table should be impacted. We do not want to disturb this employees table. What we will do, we will create a hash table, and that hash table will basically be the replica of employees table. And then we can make changes to that hash table with a single pound sign, right? Because the moment we will close this query window, that hash table will not even exist. So that's not the problem. But we do not want to disturb our main table, that is employees table. That's why, first of all, let's create a replica of this table. So we will write select star into, let's name the temporary table that we are going to create as hash temp1. So select star into hash temp1 from employees. As we have discussed in previous sessions, so this statement written in line number 11 will create a replica of employees table. So 10 rows impacted. Now if we will run a simple select statement on hash temp1, if I will write select star from hash temp1, and if I'll execute this statement written in line 13, so you can see that this is exactly the replica of employees table. All right. Now Control R. Now let's discuss about the first example. Example 1. And let's discuss about CTEs from here. So I will write, since we have already discussed that if you want to create a CTE, so you'll have to use the with keyword. We can write with, and then you have to provide a name to the common table expression. As of now, let's write CTE, but you can provide some other name as well. With CTE, and then you have to write the as keyword, bracket open, bracket close, and inside this bracket, you will have to write your CTE query. Fine. So let's say we want to write select star from hash temp1. And since we have discussed that we can use a common table expression along with a select statement, insert statement, or update statement, or delete statement. So in this example, let's consider a select statement where we will be referring to the common table expression. So we can write select star from CTE. So you can see that in line number 21, we are referring to this common table expression, which is defined in line number 17. Fine. So what we will do, we will simply have to select this entire part, that is from line 17 to line 22, and we will then execute it. So you can see it simply shows the data that was contained in hash temp1 table, because as a part of the CTE query, we have written select star from temp1. So whatever is contained in hash temp1 table, that only will be shown to you as the output when you will run this whole part, right? And there is one more thing that you should keep in mind. Whenever you are using select insert, update, or delete statement where you are referring to the common table expression, that part should immediately be written after you have defined your common table expression. So once we have defined the common table expression here and from line 17 to 19, just after the definition of the CTE, we have written the select statement. And in order to execute this piece of code, we will have to select this entire part and then we can click on execute. If we will select only this part and we will execute, SQL Server will throw an error. If you will select this part and execute the code, SQL Server is going to throw an error. It simply says that it doesn't even recognize the object, invalid object name CTE. So these two parts are to be selected and executed together. That is one point, right? That is also important because the statements which are referring to the CTE should immediately be written after the CTE. Now let's say we want to change the name of the CTE. So we can change the name of common table expression. We can take one more example. So example 2. Control R. Let's say this time we want to write with. Let's name the CTE as test underscore CTE. And then as keyword, bracket open, bracket close. And inside the bracket, let's say this time we only want 2 columns from hash temp table, and those 2 columns are employee ID column and let's say your first name column. So we can write select employee ID, comma first name from hash temp1, and let's say we want the data only for 2 employee IDs. Let's say for employee ID number 2 and 4. So we can write where employee ID in 2, 4. All right. And then we will be referring to this test common table expression, let's say in a select statement. So we can write select star from test CTE. And now let's see what happens when we will execute this piece of code. If we will select the SQL code written in line 25 to 29, and if we'll execute this, you will see that only 2 columns data is visible to us. That is employee ID and first name. And that too for employee ID equal to 2 and employee ID equal to 4. Because in the CTE query, we have written the condition like that. We have written we only want employee ID and first name column from hash temp1 table. That too for those cases where employee ID is either equal to 2 or 4. That's why as a part of this select statement where this CTE was being referred to, the output generated was only for employee ID 2 and 4, and there were only 2 columns in the output. That's how we can define and use a common table expression. Control R. Let's take some other examples to understand this. So we will write example 3. Now this time we basically have used the select statement to simply see the output. Let's say this time we want to insert the data into a new table that doesn't even exist. So how we can do that with the help of the CTE, we will take an example. We can simply write with. Let's name this as common table expression. So we can write it, maybe we can write common table expression. And then we will use as keyword, bracket open, bracket close. And inside the bracket, let's say we select might be star from hash temp1 where employee ID, let's say in 1, 2 and 3. All right. And now we want to insert the records into a new temporary table, which will be named hash temp2. So we can write select star into hash temp2 from the common table expression. So this is its name, copy it and paste it here. And now let's execute this statement written from line 33 to 37. So you can see that hash temp2 table was populated with 3 records, right? you can see the message, 3 records impacted. It means hash temp2 table was created and 3 records corresponding to employee ID equal to 1, 2, and 3 were inserted into hash temp2. Now, if we want to check the output, so we can simply write select star from hash temp2. If we will execute the select statement written in line 39, so you can see that it consists of data exactly for employee ID 1, 2, and 3. So we referred to this common table expression here. And with the help of the common table expression, we created a new table by the name hash temp2 in which the records were inserted. Now let's take some more examples to understand the update and your delete statements. So Control R, and here we will write, this was example number 3. Let's write example 4. So let's say we want to create a common table expression and let's name it as CTE1. So we can write CTE1, maybe CTE_1 as keyword, bracket open, bracket close, and let's write select star from hash temp1 where employee ID in, let's take even numbers like 2, 4, 6. And now we will say, let's say we are interested in updating the hash temp1 table, but we want to update only those records or the employee IDs for those records in the hash temp1 table where the employee ID is equal to 2, 4, or 6. So how that can be done with the help of the common table expression, we'll see that. So since we want to update the hash temp1 table with the help of CTE1 table, so what we'll do, we will write update hash temp2 set, let's say employee ID equal to, let's keep it 101. So set employee ID equal to 101 where employee ID in bracket open, bracket close, and we can write select distinct employee ID from CTE_1. So we can use this common table expression. We can refer to this common table expression, and using that common table expression, we can update the employee IDs for certain records in hash temp1 table. Sorry, here we have written hash temp2. We want to update hash temp1. So we can write the name of hash temp1. And as of now, as you can see that this CTE1, while defining the CTE1, we have considered only employee IDs 2, 4, and 6. So when this part will be executed, the employee IDs which will be returned will be 2, 4, and 6, and wherever 2, 4, and 6 exists in hash temp1 table in employee ID column will become equal to 101. So if as of now I will execute simple select statement first of all to show the data to you, so we can write, I'm writing it here because the update statement should appear just after the definition of CTE. So I'm writing here in line 50 that select star from hash temp1. Now we are going to update this table. So before that, you should have a look. So if I'll execute this statement, so you can see that here we do have employee IDs 2, 4, and 6. But now after running this statement, running this piece of code, which is highlighted in blue as of now on the screen, you will not see employee IDs 2, 4, and 6. So let's execute it. And instead, in place of 2, 4, and 6, you will see 101 because we have written here that employee ID has to be set to 101, where the employee ID lies in the employee ID, which is taken from the common table expression named CTE1. If I'll execute this part, so 3 rows impacted. Now, if you will execute this statement written in line 50, you will see that employee IDs 2, 4, and 6 doesn't appear. So in place of 2, 101 is there. In place of 4, 101 is there. In place of 6 as well, the employee ID has changed to 101 because we have updated this statement. and updated this table. And in this update statement, we have referred to the common table expression, that is CTE1, and we have used the update statement. So that's why we said that common table expressions can be used with select statements, update statements, insert and delete statements. So let's take some more examples to understand the other type of statements with which common table expressions can be used. Sorry. Let's discuss about delete. So we can simply write with, let's name it as CTE2. Sorry, this is a comment. We can write example 5. And here we can write with CTE underscore 2. Let's name it as CTE2. So with CTE2 as bracket open, bracket close, and inside the bracket, let's write select star from hash temp 1 where employee ID is equal to 1. So here when we are defining the common table expression 2, so we have written that we want all the columns corresponding from the hash temp1 table where the employee ID is equal to 1, right? And in that way, we have defined the CTE2. Now, let's say we are interested in deleting the records from hash temp1 table where the employee ID is equal to 1. So we can write delete from hash temp1 where employee ID in, and then you can write inside the brackets select distinct employee ID from CTE underscore. So here we are referring to common table expression in the delete statement, right? But since we should execute this whole piece of code together, if I'll execute this, so you can see one row affected because there was one row where the employee ID was equal to 1. Now that row was deleted from hash temp1 table. And we used common table expressions concept for that purpose, because you can see that in the delete statement here, written in line 59, the CTE2 is referred to. So now if I will run simple select statement on hash temp1 table to see that whether employee ID 1 actually exists or was actually deleted, so we can simply write select star from hash temp1. If I will now select this statement written in line 61 and if I'll execute it, you can see that employee ID 1 doesn't appear because we deleted that record. Fine. So that's how we can use the common table expressions. Now we will take one more example to understand this. And let's take one last example for this particular case. So we will say example 6. And let's say this time we want to discuss about the insert state. Fine. So we will write with CTE underscore 3 as bracket open, bracket close. And let's say we want all the records from your hash temp1 table. So we can write select star from hash temp1. And let's say we want to define in the CTE only that data where the employee ID from hash temp1 table is equal to 101. So we can write where employee ID in 101. Now we want to say that we want to insert these records with employee ID as 101 into the hash temp1 table again. So the employee ID equal to 101 records already exist in the hash temp1 table, but we want to insert these records again into the hash temp1 table. So we can use insert statement now along with the CTE. So we can write insert into hash temp1 from CTE, right? So insert into hash temp1, select all from, select star from. So we can write in this way because this is the syntax. So insert into hash temp1 select star from CTE. So once we execute this piece of code, which is written in line 65 to 69, you will see that there will be 6 records where employee ID is equal to 101. If as of now, first of all, I want to show you that how many records are there where employee ID is equal to 101 in hash temp1. So I will have to execute this statement written in line 61. So if I execute this, you can see that there are 3 such records where employee ID is equal to 101 as of now. Record number 1, record number 3, and record number 5. But the moment we will execute this example 6 code, so after executing this code, 3 more records will be inserted with employee ID equal to 101 into the hash temp1 table. And then we will run the simple select statement on hash temp1 table, and then we will check that what impact has been created. So as of now, I will select this part, which is highlighted in blue on the screen, and I'll simply execute it. So here it shows that invalid object name because the CTE that we created is named CTE3, while here we have written CTE only. So we should write CTE3, and now we should try to execute this piece of code again. Select it, execute it. So 3 records were impacted. If now we will run simple select statement on this hash temp1 table, and if I'll execute it, you can see that the number of the records have increased, and now there are 6 such records where employee ID equal to 101. So we have this record, then this record, 2, then 3, then 4, 5, and 6. So in this session, we have discussed about using common table expressions along with select statement, insert statement, update statement, and delete statement. We will meet in the next session and we will discuss about multiple common table expressions, and we will also discuss about recursive CTEs in the upcoming session. So I hope this video was helpful. We'll meet in the next session. Till then, thank you. Bye-bye.